Hey there, movie lovers. I'm Benjamin. I'm Benji, and I'm Ben. And you're listening to
Three Indistinguishable Guys Talking About Movies.
The podcast that holds the record for the most iTunes reviews where the text sings our praises but only received 1 star because the reviewer couldn't quite figure out the complex mechanics of the star rating system. On this episode, we're continuing our Top 5 of series where we discuss the top 5s of a given year. And in this week, we're really excited to finally get to talk about the films of 1895. 1895 was a pivotal year in filmmaking. It's the year that the first 35mm camera was run in a theater. The year also saw the invention of the safety razor and the sport of volleyball, which, fun fact, was first played by women stripped down to their corsets for the arousal of peeping toms and pervert looky-loos. Wow, I did not know that. Yeah, it's true. Only 7 women died from corset-related organ crushings that year, and another 3, including a male volleyball enthusiast and sex criminal, were seriously hurt when a corset exploded as a female player attempted the sport's first spike. Fascinating stuff. Indeed it was, but 1895 wasn't all organ crushings for women and giant leaps in shaving technology for men. No. It was also perhaps the single most important year in film history, as it saw the release of some of the most influential films of all time. I'll kick things off with my personal favorite film released that year. It's one that everyone knows and I guarantee everyone has seen at some point in their lives. In French, they call it L'arrivée d'un train en gare de la ciutat, but you might know it better as Arrival of a Train at a City Station. Here's a clip. So that was the clip. I probably should have mentioned that it was a silent film. Sound wouldn't really be a thing for another 30 years or so, but still, even without sound, it's a truly inspiring tale that moves me whenever I see it, usually back and away from the screen as I run for my life trying to avoid the train barreling into my living room. Benji, where you went with more of a thriller, I chose a straight-up 1895 action flick. As far as I can tell, it's just called Boxing Kangaroo, and it is a truly blistering, edge-of-your-seat thrill ride. It's a classic man versus nature tale of a man in peak physical condition meeting his match in the form of a kangaroo wearing boxing gloves that beats the ever-loving shit out of him for 18 seconds. There's no explanation for why they're fighting, but that's part of its mystique. Maybe it was a climactic battle between good and evil. Maybe the kangaroo didn't take too kindly to the man trying to climb into his pouch. In that sense, Boxing Kangaroo stands in stark contrast to the modern cinema landscape as filmmakers trusted the audience to work out these mysteries for themselves, thus absolving the filmmakers of having to worry about petty things like story and character motivation and logic and animal cruelty laws. It's one of those films that everyone walks away with a different interpretation. More pragmatic viewers say the film was prescient in its use of film as a technology to capture wild flights of fancy, with the surrealist imagery of a boxing kangaroo being the 1895 equivalent of today's superhero movies. Oh, how cool. So what's your interpretation of it, Benji? They were settling a score after the kangaroo fucked the guy's girlfriend. Ah, of course. I can't believe I didn't see that before. Right, yeah. Moving on. Ben, what's your favorite movie of 1895? My personal favorite of 1895 is titled The Gay Brothers. It sets a David Lynchian kind of scene where one man plays a fiddle and quite badly into an enormous horn. Off to the side are 2 men holding each other, embracing each other gently as they dance in a circle. The title says they're brothers, but it also says they're gay, but maybe it's like gay as in happy and not sexually. So maybe they're like gay, but maybe they're not. Who knows? But even over 100 years later, queer representation is still hard to come by, so we'll take it. We certainly will. Now, I'm breaking the rules a little here, but if I could sneak in one honorable mention that made it into all of our top 5s, it would be a film called The Photographical Congress Arrives in Lyon. At first glance, it might seem like a short clip of well-dressed photography lovers with bushy sideburns disembarking a riverboat, but dig a little deeper into the subtext, namely the title that spells the entire thing out for you, and you realize that this is probably the first time ever that filmmakers made a movie about themselves shot on location up their own asses. It's a tradition continued to this day with films like The Artist, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Hugo, all of which were filmed on location straight up the director's spacious and expertly set-dressed assholes. Wow, that is some real film history right there. Excellent pull. And with that, we're about done with this week's episode. If you'd like to support us, you can subscribe to the podcast, tell a friend, but most importantly, you can give our podcast network some money. You can do so over at patreon.com/inaudiblepod, where you'll find the monthly subscription fee that best suits your sad income. Then consider following the network on Twitter @inaudiblecast. Oh, and quick programming note before we go. No new episode next week, so we'll be rerunning our interview with Kevin Spacey, where we talk to him about why he got into acting, what it was like on the set of Seven, and about his prolific career as a sex pest. Bye for now. See you soon.